So our final step that we will do on this particular worksheet, where we are comparing median income to the median price of housing, is to go ahead and calculate a ratio of the housing price to the income price. So we created that chart, stacked bar chart, showing the relative magnitude of difference between housing prices and the income, shown here in blue. But we can also go in and do a calculation and then graph this ratio. So the way this would work, we're going to take a look at house to income and just calculate a ratio just by dividing. Always start with that equal sign. Divide the median housing price by the median income for each city. And once again, we can just click the check mark or press enter. And then what we can do is we'll want to do that same calculation for each of the remaining 6 cities. And so a shortcut we can use for that is just to simply copy that same formula by grabbing the fill handle located here in the lower right hand corner of the cell, the active cell. And you'll notice that when you point to it, it turns to a black cross. So you click and hold that with your left mouse button, drag that down, and it will fill that formula all the way down. And you'll see equals C7 divided by B7, and then the next one will be C7 divided, or C8 divided by B8. So it copied that down to make sure that it's copying the housing divided by the income for each of these cities. Zoom that in a little bit for you. And then if we wanted to, we could create another graph that is a graph of the ratio. So we'd select our values again, click Insert, and once again we'll use that column chart. And right-click, select Data, edit our x-axis to include the city names. Come on over to our Series 1 and edit so that we can give it a title. And let's call that Median Housing Income Ratio. And it went ahead and put that into our title for this particular format of a chart. And click OK. And then if we want to, we can go ahead and move that into its own sheet. And so we have median chart there. Now we could call this new one, well, let's call it our ratio chart. And there we go. So what this is doing is helping us to once again tell the story of the median housing and income for selected cities so that we can do a comparison and investigate affordability for these particular areas. And so clearly we can see that these cities here, San Luis Obispo, San Jose, are the most expensive here in California. And the way you would read this is that San Luis Obispo, because this is now a graph of a calculation or a ratio where both those numbers are combined, this is now telling us that the ratio of housing to income is such that housing prices are 5 times as much as the median income. So that's how you would read this. If you came here to Santa Barbara, looks like it's about 3 3/4 more, 3.75 times more. The housing price 3.75 times more than the annual income. And then down here, Tule Lake. Well, housing in Tule Lake is 2 times the median annual income of the residents for Tule Lake. And so what that means is that the most affordable city on this list is Tule Lake. And so that'll just about conclude the graphing portion of this assignment. And so what you can do is go ahead and answer these questions. And I've discussed a lot of this already as far as what story does the graph tell you. What I will tell you is that when you do answer these questions, the best way to do it is to answer the question by rephrasing the question. So you don't need to type out this question, but simply answer the question. For example, what story does a wide gap between income and housing tell you? So you could begin typing, a wide gap between housing and income tells you that. What situation would be most favorable? The situation that would be most favorable is because. Which city represents the highest cost of living? Well, it looks like there's two of them there. And so you would begin your answer to this question by saying, the cities that represent the highest cost of living include, and then you would say why, and you could talk about this ratio of housing to income. So good luck with that. Ask any questions you have, and I hope you found this particular assignment helpful with respect to median income, median housing, and why it is used within our economy to measure these most important economic variables.